Hey, everybody, it's Mayor Jane here. Thank you again for joining our Facebook Live program. We have some incredible guests, as we have had for, gosh, I think the last month. We have Dr. Michael here. He is going to give us our COVID update, what we're calling our Road to Recovery presentation. So we're very, very excited to have him. And guess who else we have? We have the mayor of Kansas City. How exciting is that? So we're very excited to bring him on as well. But first, we're going to have Dr. Michael give us an update. If you watched our last show, you'll know that Dr. Michael is still over in the UK. He was talking about some of the issues that are being faced over there. We can't wait to get him back home safely, but he's going to give us the numbers here. And I'll give you a real quick bio on him in case you guys haven't seen the show before. We're very lucky to have Dr. Edwin Michael in our community. He grew up in India and Malaysia. He attended university in India and the UK, obtained a PhD from the Imperial College London in 1990, then went to the universities of Cambridge and Oxford for his postdoctoral work. I see he's kind of a slacker there, but we'll get by that. Came to the US to take up a professional position in epidemiology and global health at the University of Notre Dame in 2011, and then he just moved to USF this July to take up the professor of epidemiology position at the College of Public Health, one of our favorites at USF. So thank you, Dr. Michael, for joining us again, and can you give us an update on where we're at with the COVID-19? I know our positivity rate is declining, but go ahead.
Yeah. So thank you for that, Mayor. Well, this is the update. I'm sorry I couldn't join last week, and that was because we were building our model to take into account the two viruses, the two, the two variants, and also the rollout of the vaccines. So we ran into some trouble last week, but that's fixed, and these are the updates. So quickly, as always, we start with where are we at? What is the status of the pandemic? And here I'm going to show the data, which are the blue curves, from from early March until to date, which is yesterday. And then also showing the model fit to the data. And the black line is the model fit to the data. I'll come to this in a minute. But before that, to people who don't know about these models, this is the mathematical model of disease transmission, and it models the spread of a disease like COVID by dividing the host population into different groups or categories, and then simulating the flow of individuals between those compartments. So that's how this is done. And like I said, this is a brand new edition. It includes the 2-dose vaccination rollout, and also it captures any impact of the new virus transmission, in the model as well. It is data driven because the model is fit to data, and then we calibrate the model or discover the parameters. And this is exactly like those hurricane models that Floridians are so well aware of. And we update the parameters by fitting the model sequentially to newly arriving county level daily cases and deaths. And because we are fitting and we're discovering parameters as they change through time, the forecast will be very dynamic. Any change in community transmission and intervention conditions will influence future predictions. So keep that in mind.
Now, before we go off of this, Dr. Michael, one, I want everybody to look at the black line, the predictions, and the fact that that is going down dramatically. And the blue line, regardless of the dramatic upward and downward spikes, which are reports, you've been right on that predictive model since the beginning. So go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
Yes, no, absolutely. So this is the latest prediction. I mean, if you look at the latest data, we were worried about the spike. If you recall, Mayor, when I last came on, this is the first week of January, when there was the spike, which is the post-holiday spike. And at that time, when we fit the models were suggesting that the cases were going to increase. But now, since then, what we've had is the vaccine rollout, which started, from middle of December, and we are incorporating the effects of the vaccine rollout as well as the social measures, which are still in operation. So with the two combined, the model, which is the black line, is predicting over the next 2 weeks, this is the near-term forecast, that the pandemic is now getting into the declining phase. And you can see that this is model forecast, and you can see the data, is mirroring what's going on with the data as well. I mean, this was surprising to me as well, that we're seeing such a quick downturn in the near-term forecast. And this is also captured by the RT number, which is the effective reproductive number, for the pandemic in Tampa Bay. What you really want is RT, as we all know, denotes how many persons on average one person can infect at any given time. So if it's greater than one, it denotes that one person can infect more than one other person, meaning that the epidemic is sustainable. It's in sustainable community transmission state. So you want RT to be greater than one, not we, but the virus, so that the pandemic can establish and spread. What we want as humans is to bring RT to less than one. That would indicate that transmission is not sustainable and the pandemic is slowing and shrinking in the community. This is the dotted line here, the horizontal dotted line is the RT value of 1. And you can see over time, early on, RT was very high, and then the lockdown took place, brought it down to below 1, and then slowly began to trundle upwards. And then you had the face mask mandates, in Tampa Bay area. Bars were closed, and then after a lag period, that brought RT down to below 1. And then when schools reopened, bars reopened, and then statewide reopening, slowly RT started inching upwards, above 1. And that's why we saw, if you go back, this phase, cases increasing, because the reproductive number was greater than 1. Mm-hmm. And then with the vaccine rollout, from 15th of November, December onwards, after a lag, we're seeing, RT, dipping now below 1. And right now, the value is 0.906, and this is the confidence interval, 0.9 from 0.889 to 0.0923, meaning it is below 1. So that is good news, and if you compare, this is the problem that I have. If you compare with the RT value that we estimated on the 4th of January, first week of January, the median value is 1.217, which was alarming at that point, but very quickly, even just in 3 weeks' time. And that is coinciding with the vaccines and this continuing social measures, you brought RT to below 1, which is really good news, but also a warning that things will change very quickly. So keep that in mind. And this is the longer term forecast. And here I'm forecasting infectious cases to the end of June 2021. And we're using current beta. Beta is the transmission rate. Now this combines any traces of the second variant as well. So this value here also takes into account if the second virus variant is spreading in Tampa, that will be incorporated in the value for beta, which we are estimating from data. And then we are also bringing in the vaccination rollouts. We are assuming that the first dose is about 50% effective, and then the second dose or the booster dose will be 95% effective. This is, more or less what Pfizer and the Moderna vaccines will provide. And we are also assuming that there's 100% vaccine acceptance. And then we're showing the forecast for varying social measures. The great news is, from this simulations, the third wave has occurred already during the first week of January. And this is for confirmed cases, and this is for daily infectious cases. This includes asymptomatic cases as well, which the model is predicting. And, in general, the rule of thumb is this will be twice the confirmed cases, which is what you're seeing if you look at the y-axis. And for both daily infectious cases and daily confirmed cases, what we are seeing, we are past the peak of the third wave, and now we are in a declining phase. The black line is vaccination plus. Vaccination started, and we are modeling from middle of December onwards. Vaccination using the rates at which people are being vaccinated in Tampa Bay, plus maintaining the current social measures, which is about 35% protective. And you can see, we are now in the declining phase. We are entering, and this is the latest, on January 26th. We are just going down. This is a sustainable decline until end of June. Yeah. And this is really good news, although I will say I am cautiously optimistic because things can change rapidly. So we need to keep an eye. And this is showing what if we release the current social measures by 10%, the red line, or if we increase by 10%, the yellow line. You can see now, as opposed to previously, it is having only a moderate impact on cases. But where it will have a big impact is it will hasten the ending of the pandemic. If you increase social measures with the current vaccination, you can end the pandemic by June. Otherwise, this will prolong till July if you maintain the current social measures and vaccination rates, or if you release the social measures by 10%, it'll go on to August. I'm not showing that curve here. Okay. So that is what social measures are going to do. And the other thing the social measures will do is to prevent the second variant from spreading. And this is looking at the Super Bowl event. And we are saying that Super Bowl will lead to about 25% decrease in the effects of the social distancing measures for about 4 days. And this is what we modeled. If this applies just for 4 days, the effect will be, then it'll lead to a spike, but it's transient. It'll just fade away. So once
we have an answer for that.
The reason it's fading away is because in the background we have the vaccination still rolling out, and then we still have the social measures, which is the current social measures. Excellent. Because of that, you can control. The spike, right, which is coming.
Tell us about the variant. I know the last time you were on here, you said that it was 70% more contagious. And then since then, I talked to Dr. Wilson, and he said that basically the tests that are done, the majority don't test for this variant, and so knowing it's here is when the cases start to show up. So what's the news on that?
Yeah, it is still, people say between 58 to 70% more contagious. Okay. And it's definitely already established, but we have not seen any trace. Or if we are seeing any trace, we can see the trace in the beta value, like I said before, but we're not seeing that, yet. Yes, in this value here, because beta is a transmission rate, which this model is actually estimating from data. And we are not seeing a significant rise in this beta rate. Okay. That is showing that, there might be very few people carrying the variant and is not established as yet.
Good.
So definitely we need to keep an eye. Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Michael. This really is good news. And we are going to do all that we can in the Tampa Bay area to follow that green trajectory there.
Yeah. So, and this one is the hospitalizations. Look, you're below the threshold with the vaccination. Wonderful. So, quickly, we are in the end game. We still have to roll out the vaccines and ensure people take the vaccines, because vaccines are going to play the biggest role.
Yeah, and we're doing a great job with the vaccine rollout and getting it to our minority Black and Brown communities, and we haven't seen any resistance. We're doing events at churches every Sunday, and we're vaccinating anywhere from 500 to 600 individuals, and we have waiting lists every single Sunday. So the only downside right now is the lack of vaccine availability, but we have the administration down, the processes, procedures, the locations, and so we're very, very excited about that.
I mean, let's just hope that over the next week or 2 weeks, we're still seeing this trend, and then we are
Yes.
out of the woods.
Excellent.
You've got, yeah.
All right. Well, we will
Okay.
see you next week, Dr.
Thank
Michael.
you. Thank you.
So much. You
Thank you
have
so
a
much.
wonderful day, and
You
we'll
too.
see you home
Bye.
soon.
Bye.
All right. Next, we have, as I promised, the mayor of Kansas City, Missouri, Quinton Lucas, better known as Mayor Q. He was sworn in as the 55th mayor of Kansas City on August 1st, 2019. So I was just a few months before you, and I am the 59th mayor. As mayor, Quinton has prioritized making Kansas City's neighborhoods safer, creating more accessible and affordable housing and public transportation, fostering a healthier community, and improving basic services. Since 2012, he has been a member of the University of Kansas Law School. He actually went to Cornell Law School. I don't mean to downplay your Cornell law degree, but I went to University of Tampa on a basketball scholarship. I'm just saying, okay? But anyway, he is a professor at the Kansas Law School, at University of Kansas Law School, very, very active in his community, and actually was a city councilman prior to becoming the mayor. And he lives in the historic 18th and Vine Jazz District, which he previously represented while he was on city council. So welcome, Mayor Q. We're very excited to have you. I want to give you a belated congratulations on winning the Super Bowl. Last year, I was actually down in Miami for that. And I can say unequivocally that Patrick Mahomes is very tall. I'm 6 foot and he's very tall. So a belated congratulations on that, and an early condolence on not having a repeat, because we plan to hoist that Lombardi trophy in our own backyard. So we are very, very excited about that. So thanks for coming on. Tell us what's great about Kansas City, Missouri.
Well, there are a lot of things that are great about Kansas City. I did not know you played college basketball. I imagine you're used to dominating the court, all those sorts of things, in the same way that the Chiefs will do next, I guess, weekend after next. And I will say this, what's great about Kansas City? Well, you mentioned the 18th and Vine Jazz District where I live. Historically, we're known for great jazz, good music, great barbecue. It is a place of amazing culture. I encourage all of you in Tampa, when traveling becomes a bit more regular, to make it up. It's a little cold outside today, but those of us in the Midwest and the rest of the country enjoy 4 seasons. And here in Kansas City, sometimes you feel like you can get 4 seasons in one day, or at least several of them. But more than anything, it's a great place to be. Seemingly not that different than Tampa in some ways, excepting the weather is part of it.
There you go. There you go. Well, when you come to Tampa, here's what all the Kansas City fans can know. All you got to bring is a carry-on. If you don't have to wear that heavy Michelin Man jacket to the airport, if you can leave that at home and run out to the Uber, all you got to bring sunscreen. That's a guarantee. You can bring shorts, t-shirts, and flip-flops, and your sunglasses. But most importantly, you got to bring your Kansas City mask, because we have a mask order in place, and we are extending that for a number of the outdoor areas that we know will be densely populated with Super Bowl fans. But we can't wait to welcome all you guys here to Tampa. We know the entire city of Kansas City is coming because Southwest just added direct flights from Kansas City to Tampa. So that is all good. You guys feel free to bring the barbecue. We've got some great Cuban sandwiches. We have amazing seafood, amazing cigars, but we can't wait to show you our backyard. Everybody thinks that Tampa Bay is actually a city, but Tampa Bay is comprised of the city of Tampa, the city of St. Petersburg, and Clearwater. We all have unique characteristics. Clearwater has the most beautiful beaches in the world. They're on the top 10 list every year, hands down. St. Petersburg has a brand new, amazing pier. They have an incredible downtown, all sorts of museums and art exhibits. And then in Tampa, we have it all. So it is a very exciting area here in Tampa Bay, but the Bucks are housed in Tampa. That's where you guys will be, regardless of where you're staying, if it's on the beach or if it's in downtown Tampa. We've got a lot of fun things for you. We've got the Riverwalk along our signature, we like to call it the diamond in our crown, the Hillsborough River in downtown, all kinds of activities you can do out on the water. Guarantee when the sun starts to set in the evening, you will see dolphins swimming around. We've got all kinds of different attractions that you can go to. So again, we can't wait to welcome you guys. We did win the Stanley Cup. We almost won the World Series. We were about a half an inch away from that. Our Rowdies have won the soccer championship, and now we're going to add the Super Bowl to it. So we're very, very, very excited about that prospect. But we can't wait to bring you guys down here. We plan to have a great event for you, but we're going to have a safe event without a doubt. And this is a difficult time, as Mayor Q, I tell everyone that no one wrote pandemic on the application for mayor, but you do what you have to do and what comes at you. And we're really good here in the Tampa Bay area about coming together whenever we have issues. And we have a number of programs that we put in place, and we can kind of compare this. So we did right off the bat, when our restaurants were reopened, we did a lift up local for restaurants and retail and allowed the restaurants to move out into the streets. We closed down streets, we closed down sidewalks, parklets, anything we could do to allow them to increase their capacity in a safe way. We had dance parties every single night when we had the safer at home orders. So, we've done a lot of the grant programs, a lot of things that we could do to try to lift our community up, keep our small businesses open. I'm sure Kansas City's like Tampa, small businesses are the backbone of our community. And so, doing everything that we can. We are on that downward trajectory now, as you saw from Dr. Michael in the COVID-19 cases. We are distributing as much vaccine as we can possibly get, but we're doing well down here. So tell us a little bit about how COVID-19 has affected your city and what you've done in response to that.
Well, Mayor, I will tell you this. Since I became mayor in the second half of 2019, the Chiefs go win a Super Bowl in early 2020. So I thought for a while, oh my God, this is the greatest job of all time. Everybody likes me, everybody's happy, they're out spending money and they're dancing in the streets. And the reality of our world changed a little bit in Kansas City. And I'm glad to hear that we're doing a lot of the same things. One was opening up our streets to more commerce, restaurants, drinks, all those sorts of things have been important. I will say this, something that many of you in Tampa may or may not know, right? With a good heater, you can really stay outside well into the cold weather months to the extent you ever have them. And even bald-headed dudes like me, chance to keep eating outside and all that. So we've built up a lot of that if you make it to Kansas City. In addition, we've had mask mandates for some time, which is, I've seen it, and Mayor, I think you'd see it the same way. It really has allowed us to reopen responsibly. It allows us to go to stores with some level of comfort. It allows us to do a lot more things. And that's why I am certain any Kansas Cityans who make it down to the Super Bowl will be coming with good behavior, following those rules, the social distancing, all the things that we would suggest. But another thing that I think is really particularly exciting is how we can create new opportunities for our small businesses. In a bet that I make with you at some point, I imagine we will make sure that either the food we're sending, the masks we're sending, everything under the sun has a lot of small business, really Kansas City themed elements to it. And that's how we can kind of get through this all together.
Yes. Yeah, without a doubt. And we're going to, we'll have a bet here in the not too distant future. And we intend, one of the things for sure we're going to include in our package is some craft beer. So all of Kansas City will be able to drown their sorrows after we win the Super Bowl.
Let me ask this though. Everybody was telling me from day one, they were like, all right, you're playing the Buccaneers. you got to bet cigars. So
Oh yeah.
cigars are your thing, I guess. But you have a wonderful singing voice, Mayor. Do you get to partake in them often, or?
No, I don't do that. I don't. I don't. But it's funny. I just cut the ribbon on a cigar bar the other day. Historic church that has been repurposed, and it is a cigar bar, 3 stories, all huge outdoor courtyard. And we are Cigar Town. When your residents come to visit, we have historic tours of our downtown, our Central Avenue, which was the historic African American business district, and Ybor City, which was a tract of land that was given to a cigar maker, Ybor Martinez. And we have a number of historic cigar factories throughout the city of Tampa. Matter of fact, there's a cigar museum, J.C. Newman cigars, Arturo Fuente, all of the world-renowned cigar makers are here, and a lot of them still make cigars by hand. So it is a big deal here. But I'm not a smoker, so a lot of people really enjoy. If you enjoy a good cigar, I'll make sure you get some great ones.
The mayor right before me was a huge Scotch and cigar guy. So if I get some extras, I'll give them to him in exchange for him not getting to be a part of all these Super Bowls. So
there you go. That sounds pretty fair there. So let's talk about what the Super Bowl is going to look like. So this will be our 5th time hosting a Super Bowl. There's only 3 other cities that have hosted more of those. And I know how much your team likes to visit Florida because you were in Miami last year. And I was down at that Super Bowl. Actually, I was a police officer in a prior life. I spent 31 years in the Tampa Police Department. And I worked all of the Super Bowls. I'd never been to a Super Bowl in my life until last year, and you do like the handoff to the next host, and so I went down for that one, and then this one will be actually the second Super Bowl that I will see. But clearly, we aren't able to fill our entire stadium with well over 70,000 screaming Tampa Bay fans. But what we are going to do in the NFL, my thought was let's fill the entire stadium with our heroes, our healthcare heroes, who have been working the front lines trying to save our communities from COVID-19, and those individuals that have had both their vaccinations. And so the NFL has given 7,500 tickets, and I believe all the transportation. I hope I'm not misspeaking there. I'll get a lot of credit card receipts and requests from people that are coming down, but from all over the United States, from all of the different NFL teams, letting them come down and participate in the joy of Tampa Bay winning the Super Bowl. But I think that's just wonderful. So we'll have around 22,000 fans safely distanced in the Super Bowl. So we're very excited. We have events sanctioned, NFL sanctioned events. There's only a couple, and those are going to be very safe. They're going to be socially distanced, mask requirements, and they're all going to be timed as well so that everybody is going to be in a safe environment. So we're looking forward to it. I know you guys are too, but I don't know how well you guys are going to play in the sun, down here in the humidity. Clearly, our guys could play very well if you saw last week's game in the cold.
And I do have to say, your defense stepped up.
Awesome.
After all of those unfortunate interceptions for y'all. I mean, you shut down Aaron Rodgers, all that sort of stuff. So I'm very impressed. I do want to say one thing about Kansas City, though. So we were proud to be the first team that welcomed back fans this year, the opening game of the season. I bumped into the NFL commissioner, Roger Goodell. I like to say I spoke to him, but he makes like $45 million a year more than me.
There you go.
I make like 20. But nevertheless, and when we talked about the reopening plan, and I am so proud of what we'll be seeing at the Super Bowl. I think the NFL really has been a leader in how you reopen events, how you can do some of these things. And it'll be fun to see down in Tampa in a little while. And, what a fascinating thing that you all get home field advantage.
I know.
It's going to be kind of a cool wrinkle. As I've learned from our stadium's opening capacity, having 20,000 people in there can make a heck of a difference. It's not as usual, but
Mhm.
players hear it. So our Chiefs fans will just come and be extra loud.
Good. There you go. They'll have to bring their megaphones with them. But I have to agree with you. The NFL has been incredible with these events. These large scale events. We really do them well here in Tampa Bay. As I said, we've had 5 Super Bowls. We've had the RNC, WrestleMania. You name it. A number of NCAA events. Matter of fact, we got all the ones that we bid for this past go round. But it takes a lot, and it takes a lot of collaboration and cooperation. So I'm very proud of the Tampa Bay area on the local, state, federal, everybody working together. But kudos to the NFL. They have really done a great job in making the best of a very difficult situation, trying to ensure that everyone gets to enjoy the game, but doing it in a safe venue. And the other night, for us, when we won against Green Bay, then it's like, oh my gosh, we've just upped the number of fans because somebody said, well, why don't you just tell everybody to stay home and watch the game? I'm like, okay, let's go to plan B. Because who wants to stay home and watch the Super Bowl when your team is in it? So we've got, plans for some safe events, and hopefully everyone will make sure that this isn't an event where individuals your fans won't go home with COVID-19. They won't bring a virus back with them. Unfortunately, they will be the only ones leaving disappointed because we will be the Super Bowl winners.
So I'm going to tell you another thing that is just interesting about people from Missouri and Kansas, the Kansas City area and Chiefs Kingdom. Last year when I was at the Super Bowl in Miami, I remember at one point I was on the interstate and I said, oh my God, I'm seeing all these license plates from my home state of Missouri. All these people drove down
All the
and
way.
bumped
I
into
love
it.
it.
And you'd know this as a mayor because I think I was walking down somewhere and they said, Mayor Q, hey, have you figured out the firefighter union contract yet? What? And then I turned around, there were like 15 Kansas City firefighters there. So we will come, bring labor issues. Well, no, I'm kidding. But
There you go. Yeah, bring a contract. I'll sign it.
Yeah.
They'll bring it to me as a former police officer. They're like, we know she'll pass it.
Right.
There you go.
We've got some great fans, and so we're pumped to share it with a good city like Tampa.
Good. I saw a news segment of a news program where they were interviewing a Kansas City fan, and he said, look, I got this great deal in Southwest going down there, sunshine, get to watch. He goes, even if I can't get in the game, he said, I'll still be a part of the excitement. So we're very, very excited to show everybody our little slice of paradise down here in Tampa Bay. So I hope you make it down. I'll make sure that you get to enjoy all that is wonderful about the Tampa Bay area. And again, we have to make sure everybody is wearing their mask. We can only do so much. You have to understand your level of personal responsibility and, just go home knowing that you had a great time in Tampa Bay, but not taking a virus with you. So the only other thing, and I don't want to rub it in too much, but since I was a basketball player, I heard you guys made a hard pitch for the Raptors. And last time I checked, they were right over here at the JW Marriott. They changed the ballroom to the JW Marriott into practice courts. And those guys, not, right across the street is our hockey arena from the JW Marriott down on the water. And, sometimes the hockey players, you may or may not know them when they walk by. NBA player walks by, you know who that is. So it's been exciting to have them here as well. I went out to the airport to welcome the Buccaneers home. And the individual at the private airport, he said, I think this has turned into a parking lot because our Lightning hockey team had flown off and they all left their cars on the runway. The Raptors had gone off to a game. They left all their cars on the runway. Buccaneers all went off and they left theirs on the runway. I must say as an observation that the NFL players all have much nicer cars than the hockey and NBA guys. Just saying.
They make great money out of it. But.
Yeah. And listen, if you promise not to tell anybody in Canada, I intend to kidnap the Raptors. So we're keeping the Raptors here in Florida. Sorry, Canada, but we're doing what we can.
Breaking hearts, Mayor. Breaking hearts.
I know. It's like the elbow. We are getting it on. So we thank you very much. I hope, go ahead.
No. I'll say this briefly about the Raptor situation. Great work by Tampa. You certainly are a wonderful host. I think it's because of different issues with time zone, shorter travel, all that sort of stuff. Kansas City will have an NBA team. We will plan to win there, as we've done in football and in baseball somewhat recently, although I also know the Rays had a good run.
Yes, they
And,
did.
more than anything, I think that we're two great sports towns, two great sports mayors. So I got to come down
There
and,
you go. Yep.
you'll beat me in a game of pickup basketball. I'll just give you that. But maybe.
Yeah. Well, you just have to remember I'm 61 years old. So, you know, what I'll have to do is use the wisdom as opposed to the youth. So I'll just think some 3-pointers from way out, although I did play center. And so long ago, they didn't have 3-pointers. So there's a big difference. But you're right. Two wonderful towns. Can't wait to welcome you down here. And we're just excited. We are so excited about the Super Bowl, not only being in our backyard, but making history, the first home team to play, and then hopefully the first home team to hoist that Lombardi trophy. We are in anticipation. We are currently expanding our trophy shelf. So just saying. But anyway, can't wait to welcome you and all the Kansas City fans down here for an incredible sporting event. So thank you, Mayor Q. I really do appreciate it. Let's see. We got a couple of questions from the media. So Charlie Frago from the Tampa Bay Times was asking about, turning the Super Bowl, the NFL event into COVID-19 spreading event. And as I said, we're doing everything that we can. We are passing an additional mask order that will require masks outdoors in those areas that we expect to be densely populated with Super Bowl fans. The Super Bowl has the 2 sanctioned events, concerts in Curtis Dixon Park, and they are going to broadcast those concerts on the Sykes building downtown, on the Marriott Waterside, and maybe other places as well, so that individuals will be able to spread out and enjoy the music and won't have to physically be in Curtis Dixon Park, because again, they're going to limit the number of people in that park so that they can safely distance from each other. And then the NFL experience, that is all time sanctioned and also limited to a certain number of individuals during those specific times. So I think they might be at capacity for the NFL experience, but if not, go on and check it out. It's free, and you can go in there and throw the ball like Tom Brady's going to throw it in the Super Bowl win. You can kick, punt, run, whatever you'd like to do in a safe atmosphere. So we are doing all we can to make sure that everybody stays safe during the Super Bowl, that everybody enjoys the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win on Sunday in the Super Bowl, but you have to do your part and you have to wear your mask whenever you are out in the public and you can't social distance from others. And there's going to be specific areas, outdoor areas, where there's going to be a mask mandate. All right, we'll keep you all posted on that. Remember to text 888, text SBLV to 888-777 for Super Bowl updates in real time. Can't wait to see you guys on Super Bowl Sunday. Please, please be safe. Thank you all and God bless.